It is with great honor that I introduce the Harvard School of Dental Medicine, class of 2022, President and Speaker, Praveen Kumar Guntaka. Kumar grew up in a small village in southern India before immigrating to the United States in 2008, calling Texas and eventually Maine his new home. Kumar graduated from the University of Massachusetts Amherst in 2018, where he received his Bachelor in Science in Biochemistry and Molecular Biology and Psychology before matriculating to the Harvard School of Dental Medicine. During his time at Harvard, Kumar served as class president and discovered his interdisciplinary passion for global surgery and artificial intelligence. He conducted research in deep learning methods to assess tumor segmentation in oropharyngeal cancer and published the first scoping review highlighting the landscape of global oral and maxillofacial surgery academic collaborations. When Kumar wasn't busy with research or in the dental clinic, you could find him jogging through the streets of Boston, road tripping with classmates, or grabbing a beer at Trillium. Kumar will soon call New York City home as he begins his training in oral and maxillofacial surgery at Mount Sinai. He's joined here today by his parents, grandma, brother, sister-in-law, nephew, and Angela, to whom he attributes all of his success. His remarks are titled, Embracing Uncertainty. Please join me in welcoming my classmate, future colleague, and personal friend, Praveen Kumar Guntaka. Hey everyone. Thank you, Jack, for the kind introduction. Friends, family, and faculty, I'm incredibly honored and grateful to welcome you all back in person and celebrate this momentous day with all of us. And to my fellow graduates of class of 2022, this is not a dream. We did it. It's hard to imagine that only a few years ago, we were sitting in these exact seats as strangers, naive to all things medicine and dentistry. Fast forward to this moment, we're now gathered here as family, several years wiser, but still naive to all things medicine and dentistry. Or maybe most things. For some of you, your journeys to Harvard began like mine, rooted outside of the United States. Growing up, my role was only as big as the dirt-paved village in India that I ran around in. But none of us could have, Sorry for that. Yeah, sorry. The closest doctor was more than a 2-hour bus ride from home, and dentistry wasn't a concept I was even aware of. From a young age, I learned that the only constant in life was often unpredictable change. At 10 years old, I left behind the only world I knew to immigrate to America. Home became Dallas, then Austin, and then eventually Portland, Maine. And while my family strove to embrace each change, we were flooded with challenges and remained buried in the lower class. My parents worked 80-hour weeks, scrubbing restaurant floors, bussing tables, cleaning bathrooms to provide my brother and me with a better life. For my parents, selfless service became their way of coping with uncertainty. I owe everything to their sacrifices as I stand here today, ready to embrace the challenges and uncertainty of tomorrow. It wasn't until my freshman year of college that I set foot in a dentist office. To now be able to dedicate my life to a profession I grew up only knowing to be a luxury, that is the beauty of unpredictable change. But today is about more than my individual story. Today is a celebration of all of our unique upbringings, sacrifices, and motivations. It is a tribute to all of our loved ones, without whom these DMDs would have been but an unfulfilled dream. Sort of like that unfulfilled dream of being able to confidently palpate a JVP or actually hear a murmur. From day one of our first year, this class has tackled everything together, conquering anatomy, physiology, the practice of medicine, all while numbing ourselves to the smell of formaldehyde and masking our panics as we assisted fourth-year dental students. But many of the most significant and memorable milestones along our journey of self-discovery and personal growth occurred outside of the classroom, from celebrating birthdays, engagements, and spontaneously road tripping to run away from our problems. The unbreakable bonds we formed made us stronger than any sealants we've ever placed, reminding us that amid every uncertain transition, we would always have one another to commiserate with celebrate with, and lean on. And never would we need each other more than our second year. In what felt like a blink of an eye, coronavirus became more than just an Anki card in our sketchy microdeck. Coronavirus turned the world as we knew it upside down, forcing us to confront unpredictable change and uncertainty. None of us could have prepared for having to trade in our Vandy keys for a one-way ticket home, with many of us taking the remainder of our classes from our childhood bedrooms. When we started at HSDM, many of us imagined that the greatest challenge we would face in dental school would be pouring perfectly fitted casts, doing our first root canals, or passing our licensure exams. But the truth is, nothing was more nerve-wracking than figuring out how to unmute ourselves and share our screens on Zoom. At first, Zoom School of Dental Medicine felt like a dream. Taking classes from the comfort of our beds was a much welcome break from the intensity of life before. But eventually, the monotony kicked in. I mean, just ask Joey, who didn't leave his apartments for the first 6 months of pandemic, except to try the new Popeye's chicken sandwich. I'm sure it was delicious, but no sandwich could satisfy our collective hunger to be back with one another in person. And while our nation tuned into the Fauci and Trump debates over public health protocols, our class were tuning into the showdown between the dental school and the university admin as we anxiously awaited updates on our return to campus. Yet, being away from campus never stopped us from fighting tooth and nail for the things that drove us to medicine and dentistry. From social justice activism during the Black Lives Matter movement to tackling health inequities during the global pandemic, our actions would shape these pivotal years. We came together through education, introspection, difficult conversations, and most importantly, through collective action. Uncertainty was our catalyst, driving us to abandon the desire to return to normalcy, and instead, work towards bettering the world we live in. Personally, I had the privilege of witnessing and participating firsthand the development of new student organizations, research groups, and initiatives that provided food, healthcare supplies, vaccines, and educational resources to communities locally and abroad. In our dental class alone, Emily co-founded My Dental Key, a dental educational platform with over 3,000 users. Jack pumped out over 25 publications, including topics such as the use of telemedicine in oral and maxillofacial surgery and evaluating the impact of racial segregation on survival in patients with head and neck cancer. Mark bridged the worlds of dentistry and business by founding an entrepreneurship club and hosting over 40 renowned speakers from across the globe. Elizabeth restarted the Action Program to advance care for underprivileged youth amid the pandemic. And myself, alongside 5 fellow classmates, founded a global surgery research group that provided first and second year dental students with more research opportunities. Needless to say, these last 4 years have been life-changing. In coming face to face with heartbreaking grief and loss, we grew stronger through our faith in science and belief in the power of human connection. We each brought this strength into the clinic amid a global pandemic, where every patient highlighted the critical importance of oral health as a window to overall well-being. Navigating through these unprecedented times, we summoned the courage and passion from within to not just face uncertainty, but embrace uncertainty. As our zealous class goes on to master residencies in various specialties across the country, let us continue to inform and amplify our voices as dedicated advocates and educators, remembering to always treat the patient, not just the disease. While much of the future remains uncertain, one thing is for sure: HSDM class of 2022, we started from the bottom, in the dental school basement. Now we are here, and nothing can stop us. We're all the way up. Congratulations and thank you, everyone.